lived in Grand Rapids, I guess.
My whole life.
Grand Rapids. So you know 131
very well. Yep.
How often do you drive it?
Every day.
Back and forth?
Back and forth every day.
To work, to school?
To work, to get my kids, to everything. And to come home, all that.
So I guess my first question, it's no shock to you that there's this many accidents? Or?
No, it's not a shock at all.
Why?
Because it's right, especially in that area, is because it's right downtown. It's where the bars are, where everybody, around that time, everybody's gonna start getting out. Some people are just stubborn, they don't wanna catch a ride home, or they think they can drive home, but they really don't know what's going on, you know? Sometimes they think they're gonna turn the right way, but they turn the wrong way. And that's kind of what happened yesterday, I think, and what happened.
So that was my next question. Just take me through, from start to finish, kind of what happened in it from your perspective, and then if we have any other questions, but just kind of where you were coming from, what you were doing, and how.
Yeah, I was coming from seeing my fiance, and as I was coming around the curb, literally, I was in the lane, in a different lane, to try to like do that turn to go on, to get off on Lane or whatever, that way. Well, something told me to get off on Pearl. Well, I just literally, as soon as I got over to get off on Pearl, a car with no lights came and smashed the car that was behind me. And I couldn't believe what had happened. So I had to sit there for a second and realize what had just happened, and then all of a sudden I just got out the car and I'm dodging traffic, trying to run over to these cars to make sure everything was all right. I looked in the car to see the guy that hit them he was driving with no lights on and hit the car head on. And I seen that he was unresponsive, so I hurried up and ran to the other car where it looked like there was these two younger males, probably some teenage, like maybe 18, 19 looking, I don't know. The one kid was pinned up in the car. The other male was unresponsive, and I'm pounding, like on the window, screaming for them to wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, your doors are locked, the car's smoking, wake up. And finally the male, the driver, looked at me all confused, and I said, "You're in an accident, bro, unlock the door." And he hit unlock. As soon as he hit unlock, I ran around, and I don't even know how I was able to rip a door open that was pinned up and smashed up to get him to kind of get to where he can move his legs a little bit. But there was no way I could have got him out of there because the engine was, everything was right here, and it was just like his legs were all broke. The other dude was unresponsive. Then there's cars coming, you know, almost hitting us while we're trying to help these people, not paying attention. And it was just finally some of my trucks had blocked off everything. And as I was able to get the door open, other people started coming to help. The other guy was kind of starting to wake up. And that's when everything just kind of went from a blur from there, because I'm running back and forth to each car trying to make sure. But my main focus was those kids, because they were, I could tell they were younger, you know, and they didn't know what was going on at all. And it was just crazy how that would have been me. If something in me didn't say move over when I did, that would have been me. And it's crazy how everything is at all. It's just so crazy. And I'm happy that I was able to be there to get out and help when I did, to wake them up, because it wasn't something that a lot of people would want to see.
I do not envy that.
Yep.
So the person that was driving the wrong way was how old? A guy?
I'd say a male. He was a bald male, probably in his mid-30s, I'd say.
Was he alone in his car?
He was alone in his car. It was a maroon G6, and he was just unresponsive the whole time. I mean, he was coming in and out, in and out, in and out, and other people were focusing. Like I said, once I seen a few people by then, my main focus was those other people in that car, trying to make sure to keep them awake. You know, I didn't want nothing to happen, so I just kept making sure they stayed awake the whole time. And the kid finally ended up waking up, and he stayed awake, and they finally, like after like 5 minutes, they snapped in, they knew what happened, and that's when the kid that was stuck panicked and started freaking out because he seen his legs were twisted up wrong ways. So, and I told him that.
Kids in the car that
Yep.
got hit?
Yep.
Just two of them?
There was two in the car, yep.
Okay, and sorry, so what were you gonna say? He said?
He was trying to get out because he said he couldn't move his legs, and I told him that there was nothing else I could do, that the fire department was here and that they're gonna have to extract him from the car because he was pinned up, and I didn't want to move anything else because I didn't want to be the cause to break anything else or hurt him in any other type of way. But the car wasn't on fire at all, it was just smoking, and so I knew at that point that nothing was major else going to happen, no fire, significant fire or anything. But then I left when, you know, everything started calming down. That's when I kind of came here and I sat out here for like 40 minutes because I was just baffled by what had happened. It's like, oh my God, that could have been me, you know?
Like I said, we don't have any update on them yet, but that's also why I always like to share these stories and meet people, because when they wake up, hopefully they do, they'll see like,
Yeah.
man, that was the guy.
Yeah, I really want to know about them too, like, you know, especially the driver, because he was the most hurt. And of the two younger males, he was the worst hurt out of all of them.
What would you say to them right now if you could?
Man, that I just really hope that they're okay, you know, and, you know, I really do hope they're all right, and I'm glad I was there to be able to keep them awake and at least wake them up to let them know what was going on, you know.
Right.
And I really hope they're all right. Even though the driver was doing the wrong way, I mean, nobody's perfect, you know, we all make mistakes, you know what I'm saying? Nothing hard, you know, we all make mistakes, you know, and I hope he's okay too. Nobody deserves to have, you know, yeah, we all make mistakes, we live to learn, you know.
What were you, so obviously, like you said, you knew that there wasn't a fire, but they needed to be awake and alert because it gets your blood flowing.
Yeah,
Like,
because I knew they were unconscious.
Right.
So, you know, I didn't know, because, you know, sometimes when you go unconscious, you don't come back to it.
right.
And so I knew at that point, I knew I had to keep them awake. You know, I had to make sure they stayed awake because I knew the driver kept going in and out, and then the passenger was going, he was the one that kept going out the most. But we were able to keep them both awake the whole time, you know, shaking them, making sure they stayed awake and stayed responsive and talking the whole time, even though if it was slurry or not. We make sure they were talking to us, letting them know what had happened, everything. And then, like I said, as soon as that, we kept them awake, and then we had EMS, and then the fire department came, and the Michigan State Police, that's when they all took over everything.
So obviously, you know, like you said, you didn't want to cause more damage, so you weren't like, yeah, bro, I'll get you out. What were you saying to him? Because I can't even imagine what he was going through, or you, because people are in panic mode and shit.
I was trying to just keep him calm the whole time, you know, just let him know, you know, you don't need to try to get out, bro. Like, you're not going to be able to get out. You're going to be fine. You didn't do anything wrong, because I don't know why he was thinking he might have did something wrong. I said, you didn't do anything wrong, dude. You were hit. Somebody hit you, you know, and then after that, he looked down, and once he seen his legs, he started freaking. And that's when I kept trying to keep him calm, like, you know, they're right here. They're about to get you out right now. And then he calmed down, and then that's when I kind of like went to my car, because I just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, totally. And I'm sure that the family of those guys, whoever they are, those kids, those teens, like, they're probably extremely grateful that you were there. Somebody was there with them at probably one of the worst moments of their life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that definitely is, because it was horrific. I mean, the way the cars looked when I got out, I was sitting there thinking, like, is anybody going to be alive? You know, that's what I thought first. So that's why, you know, and as soon as I seen them start moving, I'm like, okay, they're awake at least. So
what made you stop? And I guess it's hard in those moments when your body and your mind is in shock, but you said it seems like you didn't even like hesitate to get out and help. Why was that?
That's because I'm somebody that helps others. I'm always there for it. I mean, no matter what, you know, somebody's always going to need help. And it takes a strong, I guess nowadays people are scared to step up at times. I'm not that person. You know, no matter where I'm at, or if I know somebody needs help and they need it, I'm gonna do what I gotta do to help them too, you know? So I took it, it would just happen so fast, it just happened. But that's just who I am, a lot of people know.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you talking to us. And yeah, I mean, we hate doing these stories just as much, but it's if we can share the one positive thing in a story like this, maybe they see it, their family sees it, really grateful, you know, other people, if you see something, help, you know?
Yep.
This is a weird question. Did you happen to take any pictures or video or anything?
No, I didn't.
Totally
Not at
fine.
all.
They were just like, can you ask? I'm like, he was a little busy.
Yeah, I was just running around. I know there were some people videotaping, but I don't even know who, you know?
It's okay. I just figured I would ask, but yeah, I guess. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you. So we talked about it before we started recording, but you know 131, like you said, really well. Not surprised that there was a bad accident. What do you think they need to put there? What are some ideas that you have to make it safer?
Some ideas I would think is those the spike strips that when people, you know, when they drive, they come down, but when you're going the wrong way, they're going to stay up and they're going to flatten some tires, something to flatten the tires, something to let somebody know, something that's going to stop them from getting on that highway or even going any farther than jumping on the highway, because it's so sad. It happens so much. It does.
Do you think whether it's rumble strips or whatever they are.
Anything that's gonna help, like a big sign that says stop, wrong way, flashing lights, something bright to let them know you're going the wrong way, you know?
Yeah.
This is the wrong way, you know, but
You think there needs to be something?
there is a need, especially downtown. That's where all the bars are. That's where everybody likes to go down and have fun, you know? And then 2, that's around the time everything starts happening, between 1, 3 in the morning.